My husband never saw me as his wife. Because his mother never saw me as part of their family. Today the same man who once called my people to come and take me whenever I fell sick is lying helpless in the house begging for my attention. But I feel nothing. My name is Leah Sullivan. I've lived in Peckham, South London for 17 years. And I need to tell you something that will change how you see marriage forever. This is my story. The story of how I lost my husband long before his mother died. Because his mother never let him be my husband at all. 16 years ago. I was 26 years old, full of dreams, marrying Ethan Sullivan, the man I thought would protect me, cherish me, build a life with me. Have you ever ignored red flags because you were in love? Drop a comment if you've been there. But before that wedding day, before I said, I do, in front of God and our families, my future mother-in-law, Margaret Sullivan as everyone called her, pulled me aside in her home in Brixton. I remember every word. Every single syllable that would later destroy my marriage. Leah, my daughter. You are about to marry my son. My only son. My firstborn. Let me tell you something very important that will help your marriage succeed. As mama. I'm listening. In marriage you must know your place. Sullivan's family, his blood family, we are his priority. Boys. You are an outsider who came to join us. You are not his family. You are a guest. A permanent guest, yes, but still a guest. I was shocked. But I was also young, naive, and desperate to fit into the Sullivan family. So I smiled. I nodded. I accepted this poisonous seed that Margaret Sullivan planted in both our hearts that day. But what I didn't know was that Margaret Sullivan had already had this same conversation with Ethan. Not once. Not twice. But for his entire life. Before I continue, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss stories that heal, teach, and transform. Ethan took his mother's words as gospel. The ideology she fed him became the foundation of our marriage. And from day one I felt it. The first year of marriage I thought it was adjustment. The second year I thought it was stress from his job. By the 5th year I realized the truth. I had never been his wife. I was just the woman who lived in his house. March 2010. I woke up in the middle of the night with severe abdominal pain. I could barely breathe. I shook Ethan awake. Ethan. Him, please. Something's wrong. I need to go to hospital. It's 2 a.m. Can't it wait until morning? I think I'm having a miscarriage. Call your sister. She can take you to A&E. What? You're my husband. Your family can handle this. I have an early morning meeting. I need to sleep. I lost our baby that night. Alone in King's College Hospital. My sister Blessing rushed from Woolwich to be with me, but my husband? He showed up at noon the next day. After his meeting. Would you stay in a marriage like this? Be honest. Comment below. Ethan arrives casually holding his briefcase. But that wasn't even the worst part. 2 weeks later the hospital bill came. £850 for the emergency treatment I received that night. Ethan looked at that bill and said, "Why should I pay for this? Call your people. They can sort it out." And that's exactly what happened. My brother paid. My husband, the man who vowed to care for me in sickness and health, contributed nothing. Whenever I got sick, Ethan didn't even bother to ask what was wrong. Instead, he would pick up his phone and call my brother. "Come and carry your sister that she's sick again. Use your own money to treat her." I would be lying on our bed, dizzy, shaking, unable to move, and Ethan would walk past me as if I didn't exist. Not once did he pay a hospital bill. Not once did he hold my hand. Not once did he say, "Get well soon." My siblings saw everything and supported me more than my own husband ever did. Ethan trusted his mother with his entire life. His ATM pin? She knew it. His business deals? She supervised them. His plans, his finances, his dreams? Only she knew. I lived in that house like a visitor, a well-behaved stranger trying not to offend anyone. When I suggested opening a small business, he said, "My mother said no, you don't need it." The business I run today? My siblings built it for me after they realized Ethan would never help. I was loyal. I was patient. I kept the peace even when my heart was breaking. You see this? This business, Leah's Touch here on Rye Lane. This is mine. But Ethan loves to tell people he built it for me. He didn't. I'd been working as a care assistant for 4 years, saving every penny. I came to Ethan with a dream, to open a small salon. £8,000. That's all I needed. A loan, seed money, anything. Ethan, look. I've done all the research. There's a unit available on Rye Lane. The rent is affordable. In 2 years I could make this profitable. Not even looking up from his phone. Leah, I'm not investing in a business that will fail. You haven't even looked at the plan. My mother says women who work too much neglect their homes. She says, I don't care what your mother says. I'm asking my husband. Watch your tone. Don't ever disrespect my mother in this house that I called my siblings that night. Blessing my sister in Woolwich. Joseph, my brother in Birmingham. And Elena, my younger sister who was still studying at University of Greenwich. Together, they scraped together £8,000. They believed in me when my husband wouldn't spare a pound. Which added to my salon business. I opened Leah's Touch in January 2013. And you know what Ethan said when he finally visited? 3 months after opening? Ethan walking through the salon with Margaret Sullivan, inspecting Ethan to his mother, loud enough for me to hear. It's small. But I suppose it keeps her busy and out of trouble. If this story touches you, show some love. Like, comment and share. Just make sure she doesn't forget her duties at home, my son. Leah in the background braiding a client's hair, jaw clenched, tears threatening to fall. Not a word of congratulations. Not a penny of support. But he had the audacity to tell his friends, his colleagues, that he allowed his wife to run a business. Have you ever had someone take credit for your achievements? How did you handle it? Here's what you need to understand about my marriage. There were 3 people in it. Me, Ethan, and his mother. Except I was the one on the outside looking in. Ethan ran several businesses. Import-export property investments in Croydon and Dagenham. Consultancy services. He was doing well, very well. But you know who knew every detail of his financial life? Not me. But his mother. Ethan, I need to pop to Tesco tomorrow. Can I have your card? Mine's run out and I won't get paid until Friday. Ethan, without looking up, how much do you need? Maybe £40? I need to get groceries for the week. Pulling out wallet, counting exact cash. Here's £35. That should be enough. And bring me the receipt. £35. And a demand for a receipt. Like I was his employee, not his wife. But his mother? Margaret Sullivan knew his ATM pin. She had a key to our flat. She could walk into his office anytime, access his bank statements, his business records, everything. Letting herself into Sullivan's flat with her own key while Leah is at work. She goes through papers, checks his laptop, nods approvingly. And Sullivan's big projects. The property he bought in Croydon, the warehouse in Park Royal, the investment properties. Who do you think supervised all of it? Mrs. Margaret Sullivan in a hard hat, inspecting. Giving orders. Ethan by her side, nodding and taking notes. But not his wife. The woman who shared his bed, bore his children, managed his home. No. His mother. Always his mother. I was the wife in title only. Margaret Sullivan, she was the actual partner in his life. The children watched everything. 2 teenagers, Chloe, 16, and Liam, 14, sitting in their rooms in the flat, both on their phones, both ignoring their father's calls from the living room. Chloe and Liam. My babies. Except they're not babies anymore. They're teenagers who've watched their father treat their mother like garbage for 16 years. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your next lesson could save your relationship. I remember one day, young Chloe, age 7, watching Ethan yell at me, young Liam, age 5, seeing his grandmother criticize his mother's cooking while his father nods in agreement. Multiple scenes of emotional abuse witnessed by children. Children see everything. They absorb everything. And what my children saw was a father who worshipped his mother and treated his wife, their mother, like a servant. One day at family dinner in the year 2018. Family dinner in Lewisham Flat. Margaret Sullivan at the head of the table, Ethan to her right. Me serving food. Children quiet and the kids watching. Leah, this rice is too soft. How many times must I teach you to cook properly? Mama's right. Leah, you need to pay attention when she shows you how to cook. Then my daughter Chloe defended me. I think Mummy's rice is nice. Chloe, don't interrupt when adults are speaking. You see, even the child can taste that something is wrong. Try again next time. That night, after everyone went to bed, Chloe came to my room. He was crying. Mummy, why does Daddy let Grandma talk to you like that? It's okay, baby. Grandma is just trying to help. No, Mommy. It's not okay. Daddy is mean to you. I see it. Liam sees it. And when I grow up, I'm never going to let anyone treat me the way Daddy treats you. My daughter learned from watching her father that she should never tolerate disrespect from a man. And my son, Liam, learned that this is not how you treat the woman you love. How do you think watching parental dysfunction affects children? Share your thoughts. Present day Ethan calling for his children. They exchange glances and deliberately turn up their music, ignoring him. Today my children barely speak to their father. And he can't understand why. Me in my salon, braiding hair with expert precision. Her hands move rhythmically. Them calm and found peace in my work. You want to know how I survived 16 years of this? I found peace in silence. I stopped fighting. I stopped expecting. I stopped hoping Ethan would wake up one day and see me as his wife. I maintained my calm. I loved my children fiercely. I poured myself into Leah's touch. I built friendships with my clients. Women who became my sisters, my support system. I went to church every Sunday at Christ the Redeemer in Camberwell. I prayed. God, how I prayed. And I waited. I don't know what I was waiting for. Maybe for Ethan to wake up. Maybe for Margaret Sullivan to soften. Maybe for a miracle. Days turn on months, months into years passing. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. 2022. I became a ghost in my own home. Present but invisible. There but not seen. I spoke when spoken to. I cooked, cleaned, worked, raised my children. And through it all, Ethan and his mother continued their partnership, their dynasty, with me as the permanent outsider. But everything changed when Margaret Sullivan died. January 12, 2024. Margaret Sullivan died of a stroke. She was 78 years old. And in one moment, Sullivan's entire world collapsed. Ethan at the funeral, sobbing uncontrollably. Me standing apart, dry-eyed, watching. At her funeral, Ethan wept like I'd never seen him weep. Not when we lost our first baby. Not when his business partner cheated him out of £50,000. Not when anything happened to me or our children. But for his mother? He was inconsolable. When Ethan's mother died, people expected me to cry. But what they didn't know was that I had already cried for years. That I cried the first time he called his mother before calling me. I cried the day he made me pack my bags while I had a fever because his mum said so. I cried the day he gave her his ATM pin but told me, "Emily, a wife should not know everything. You're just coming from another family." But after she died, something changed inside me. That it wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was clarity, painful, sharp clarity. For 3 weeks after the funeral, Ethan couldn't function. He didn't go to work. He barely ate. He just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, crying for his mother. And you know what I felt? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, that's a lie. I felt relief. Am I wrong for feeling that way? Tell me honestly. 16 years of being told I'm an outsider. 16 years of being the third wheel in my own marriage. 16 years of watching my husband prioritize his mother over me in every single way. And now she was gone, and I felt relief. 2 months after the funeral. March 2024. Ethan finally emerging from his grief, trying to reconnect with his family. When Ethan finally came out of his grief fog, he turned to me. For the first time in our entire marriage, he needed me. Not his mother. Not his sisters. Me, Leah. I've been thinking. Maybe we should talk. About us. About the children. I know I haven't been. Me not turning around, continuing to chop vegetables. Go and speak to your mother. Ethan, shock. Those words hitting him like a physical blow. What? You heard me. Go and speak to your mother. Isn't that what you've always done? Every decision, every conversation, every moment of your life, you took it to her. So go ahead. Go speak to your mother. Leah, that's cruel. Mama is dead. You know she's dead, and I've been dead to you for 16 years, Ethan. So what's the difference? Ethan, tears streaming down his face, unable to respond. That was the beginning. The dam had broken. For 16 years I'd kept quiet, kept calm, kept my pain locked inside. But with Margaret Sullivan gone, I had nothing left to lose. The woman he'd treated like an outsider for 16 years was about to show him what that really felt like. Ethan tried. I'll give him that. He tried to bridge the canyon he'd spent 16 years digging between us. Leah, I was thinking, maybe we could go out this weekend? Just the two of us. There's that new restaurant in Stratford. We could. I'm busy this weekend. Doing what? finally looking at him face blank. Things. My things. You've never cared about my schedule before, Ethan. Why start now? Don't forget to like and share. Someone out there needs this message today. I'm trying here, Leah. I'm trying to make things right. Make things right? After 16 years. Tell me, Ethan, what magical words or actions will erase 16 years of telling me I'm not your family? Of treating me like I'm nothing? He had no answer. Because there is no answer. With Margaret Sullivan gone, I realized something powerful. I didn't need Ethan. I'd built a life without him. My business was successful. My business that I built with my siblings' help. My children loved me and respected me. I had my church community, my clients who'd become friends, my sisters in Christ. But Ethan? He'd built his entire life around his mother. And now she was gone. Can a marriage recover from this level of damage? Or is some betrayal too deep to heal? It wasn't just me who'd had enough. Chloe and Liam, they'd watched everything and they'd made their judgment. Chloe, I'm your father. You will not speak to me with this attitude. Father, you want to talk about being a father? Where were you when Mummy was working 2 jobs to save for my school uniform? Where were you when Liam was sick with pneumonia and Mummy sat with him in hospital for 3 days straight? Where were you for any of it? I was working. Providing for this family. You were with Grandma. Everything was always about Grandma. Grandma's opinion, Grandma's approval, Grandma's needs. Never Mummy. Never us. That's not true. Yes, it is, Daddy. We were there. We saw everything. We saw you treat Mummy like she was nothing. Like she was just a maid or something. Not your wife. Not our mother. Just someone you tolerated. Ethan, face crumbling, looking between his children and me, Al stood in the doorway watching silently. And now Grandma is gone and suddenly you want to be a family? Doesn't work like that, Daddy. You can't just decide now that we matter. Cloned Liam walking past their father to stand with their mother. A united front. Ethan alone on the other side of the room. My children chose me. Not out of spite. But because I'd been there. Through everything I'd been there. Children always know the truth. You can't hide mistreatment from the ones who watch you every day. 3 months ago, Ethan was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. His blood pressure is dangerously high. The doctor said it's stress, grief, and years of poor management catching up with him. When I got sick in 2010, Ethan told me to call my people. So when he got sick, Leah, can you bring me some water? And my medication? Me in the kitchen, hearing him deliberately turning on the tap to drown out his voice. I continues preparing my own dinner. I heard him perfectly. But I thought to myself, where are your people, Ethan? Where are your sisters? Where is your precious mother to take care of you now? Ethan struggling out of bed, weak, stumbling to the kitchen to get his own medication. Leah doesn't look up from her food. Is it cruel? Yes. Do I feel guilty? Sometimes. In my weaker moments. But then I remember lying in King's College Hospital, losing our baby alone. And the guilt fades. Am I wrong to treat him this way? Or is this just karma? Sullivan's 2 sisters, Hannah, 46, and Zara, 42, visiting the flat in Lewisham. They look exhausted, overwhelmed. Hannah lives in Manchester with her husband and 4 children. Zara is in Birmingham, recently divorced, raising 3 kids alone. They love their brother. But they can't save him. Leah, please. I know Ethan has been difficult. I know Mama was hard on you. But he's our brother. He's suffering. And I suffered for 16 years, Hannah. Where were you then? We didn't know it was this bad. You didn't know? You were at Sunday dinners. You were at Christmas gatherings. You saw how your mother treated me. You saw how Ethan followed her lead. And you said nothing. Mama was Mama. She was traditional. She believed wives should what? Be treated like outsiders? Be dismissed? Be disrespected in their own homes? That's not tradition, Hannah. That's cruelty. Did you husband and your mother-in-law treat you the way your brother and mother treated me? She refused to answer me. So what do? Do we just let our brother suffer? That's up to you. Call your people. Figure it out. That's what he always told me. They visited twice more. But they have their own lives, their own struggles. They can't be here every day. They can't fix what their brother and mother broke. When you teach a man that his wife is not his family, don't be surprised when he ends up with no one. Ethan, late at night, sitting alone in the dark living room, old photo albums open in front of him. Pictures of him and his mother. Pictures of him and the wife from happier times. His face is devastated. Ethan regrets it now. He tells me almost every day. Through tears, through apologies, through desperate pleas. I was wrong. About everything. Mama was wrong to tell me you weren't family. I was wrong to listen. But I destroyed us. I see that now. Yes, you did. But can't we try to fix it? Start again? I'll do anything, Leah. Counseling, therapy, whatever you need. Just please don't give up on us. I gave up on us years ago, Ethan. You just didn't notice because you were too busy with your mother. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Was it fair when you let your mother humiliate me in front of your children? Was it fair when I lost our baby and you prioritized a work meeting? Was it fair when my siblings had to fund my business because my own husband wouldn't invest a single pound? Ethan has no response. Just tears streaming down his face. You made your choice 16 years ago, Ethan. You chose her. Every single day you chose her. So forgive me if I don't have sympathy now that your choice is gone and you're realizing what you've lost. I away. Ethan collapsing into a chair, head in hands. Regret is a powerful thing. But it doesn't erase history. Doesn't undo pain. And it doesn't obligate me to forgive. Does regret deserve forgiveness? Or are some actions beyond redemption? Comment. My salon. Multiple women being serviced. A community gathering space. Women talking, sharing stories. You know what's interesting? When word got out about my situation, and in the South London word always gets out, the reactions were divided. Leah, I heard about your husband. You know, marriage is hard. Maybe you should try to forgive him? For the children's sake. Blessing with respect. Where was that advice 16 years ago? Where was for the children's sake, when their father was teaching them that disrespecting their mother was acceptable? No. Leah, don't listen to that. You don't owe that man anything. He made his bed. Let him lie in it. Client, but Leah, he is still your husband. In our culture, a husband must also cherish his wife. Did Ethan do that? Did his mother teach him that? Uncomfortable silence in the salon. Then slow nods from several women. Client, I stayed for 20 years. 20 years of being told I wasn't enough. That I was lucky to be married. That I should be grateful. And you know what happened? He left me anyway. For a younger woman. And I'd wasted 20 years of my life being small, being quiet, being grateful for crumbs. Don't waste another day, Leah. You've already given 16 years. Don't give him 17. The other women in the salon, all nodding, many with tears in their eyes. Silent solidarity. That's when I realized. Every woman in my salon, in my community, in my church, they all had a story. A mother-in-law who undermined them. A husband who chose his mother over his wife. A marriage where they were treated like guests in their own homes. My story wasn't unique. It was universal. To the women watching, have you experienced this? To the men, did your mother teach you that your wife isn't your family? It's time we have this conversation. I'm a Christian woman. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in mercy. I believe in the sanctity of marriage. So every night I wrestle with God about this. Lord, am I wrong? Am I sinning by refusing to care for him? By refusing to forgive? The Bible says to forgive 70 times 7. It says wives should submit. It says love covers a multitude of sins. But Lord, what about me? What about the 16 years I submitted while being crushed? What about the times I showed love and received cruelty? What about the children who watched their mother be diminished every single day? I don't have an answer. I don't know if what I'm doing is right or wrong. I don't know if I'm justified or if I'm becoming the very thing I hate. All I know is that I can't go back. I can't unsee what I've seen. I can't unfeel what I've felt. Forgiveness doesn't mean returning to bondage. Grace doesn't mean accepting abuse. And faith doesn't mean losing yourself. At least that's what I tell myself. Faith and boundaries can coexist. You can be a praying woman and still say, enough is enough. Here's something I haven't mentioned. Sullivan's businesses are struggling. Without his mother managing everything, without her supervision and guidance, things are falling apart. Sullivan's office. September 2024. He's on the phone stressed. No, the shipment can't be delayed again. I have clients waiting. What a YT, do you mean the payment didn't clear? Ethan hanging up, head in his hands. He looks at his accounts on the screen. Numbers in red. The property in Croydon has tenants who haven't paid rent in 4 months. The warehouse lease in Park Royal is coming up for renewal and he can't afford it. His consultancy business, the one his mother helped him build, the one where she was his secret weapon, has lost 3 major clients. Margaret Sullivan wasn't just his mother. She was his business partner, his accountant, his secretary, his everything. And he never learned to do it himself because she was always there. Now she's not. And he's drowning. Leah, I need to ask you something. What is it, Ethan? I'm having some financial difficulties. The Croydon property, the business. Things are tight. I was wondering if maybe you could lend me some money? Just until I sort things out. How much? Follow this channel for more shocking true life stories and healing journeys. Maybe £15,000? I know it's a lot, but I'm good for it. I'll pay you back with interest. Laughing, not a happy laugh, a bitter, painful laugh. £15,000. You want me to lend you £15,000. Your business is doing well. I see the clients coming in and out. I know you're making money. My business? The business you wouldn't invest a single pound in? The business your mother said would distract me from my duties? The business you told your friends you allowed me to run? Leah, please. Where was this request when I needed £8,000 to start that business? Where was this partnership when I was working 2 jobs to save money for Chloe's school uniform? Where was this teamwork when your mother needed £20,000 for her investment in Portland and you gave it to her without question? Ethan has no answer. Just shame written across his face. The answer is no, Ethan. Call your people. Figure it out. Those are your words. Live by them. I had the money. £15,000? I had it. Saved from my business, from my hard work, from years of sacrifice. But giving it to him would have been betraying myself. It would have been saying that everything he did was acceptable. That I could be crushed for 16 years and still be his safety net. Would you have given him the money? Or would you have done what I did? October 2024. Ethan in the living room on the phone with his sister Hannah. His voice is desperate, broken. Hannah, I don't know what to do anymore. She won't speak to me. The children hate me. I'm losing everything. The business, the properties, my health. Everything Mama and I built is crumbling and I don't know how to fix it. Through the doorway, I'm visible in the kitchen preparing dinner. I can hear every word but my face is expressionless. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. But how long must I pay for it? How long must I suffer? Doesn't 16 years of marriage count for anything? 16 years of marriage. He keeps saying that like it's a defense. Like the length of time somehow erases the depth of the damage. Later that night, Ethan enters the kitchen while I am cleaning up. Desperate, grabbing my hand arm, not violently but urgently. Leah, please. Just tell me what to do. Tell me how to fix this. I'll do anything. Anything. Just please. Don't let us end like this. Pulling my arm away, turning to face him. You want to know how to fix this? You want the magic formula? Yes. Yes, whatever it takes. Go back 16 years. Go back to every moment I needed you and you chose your mother. Go back to every time she humiliated me and you nodded in agreement. Go back to our baby's funeral that you attended like it was an inconvenience. Go back and change it all. Can you do that, Ethan? Can you undo 16 years? Tears streaming. You know I can't. Then there's nothing to fix. There's nothing left to fix. Ethan falling to his knees, literally begging. I'm begging you. I'm on my knees. Please. I'll go to counseling. I'll go to church. I'll do whatever you want. Just give me a chance to get up, Ethan. Your mother isn't here to see you grovel. And I'm not impressed by it. The absolute devastation on Sullivan's face. Me walking away, leaving him there on his knees in the kitchen. That was 3 weeks ago. He hasn't begged since. Something in him broke that night. Or maybe something in me broke. I don't know anymore. There's a point in every relationship where too much damage has been done. Where sorry becomes just a word without meaning. This is what our lives look like now. 2 people living in the same flat but existing in completely different worlds. Ethan attempting to cook for himself, burning food. Papers scattered everywhere. Taking medication alone. Staring at his phone, scrolling through old photos. Ethan exists in the past. In regret, in grief, in the ghost of his mother and the marriage he destroyed. I exist in the present. In my work, my children, my faith, my community. In the evening, Elle comes home from the salon. Ethan is in the living room looking unwell. I walks past him to her bedroom without a word. We are roommates. Less than roommates. We are strangers sharing space. In the night, Ethan in one bedroom, awake, staring at the ceiling. He can't sleep without crying. While I sleep like a baby. Is that cruel? Maybe. But it's honest. Can two people recover from becoming strangers? Or is it better to just accept that the marriage is over? Our pastor insisted on this meeting. One last attempt to save the marriage. I agreed out of respect for the church. Ethan agreed out of desperation. Ethan, Leah, I've known you both for many years. I married you in 2007. I baptized your children. And now I'm watching your marriage crumble. Talk to me. What happened? I failed her, pastor. I let my mother control our marriage. I treated Leah like she wasn't important. I see that now. Eva apologized. Eva begged. But she won't forgive me. Leah, is this true? The facts are correct, pastor. But the framing is incomplete. Explain. Ethan says he's apologized. Yes. He says he's begged. Yes. But what he hasn't said is that for 16 years I begged too. I begged him to see me as his wife. I begged him to stand up for me when his mother belittled me. I begged him to be my partner when I was building my business. I begged him to take me to hospital when I was losing our baby. My begging lasted 16 years, pastor. His has lasted 6 months. And now he wants me to immediately grant him what he denied me for our entire marriage. Compassion. Then is this accurate? Yes, pastor. Leah, I understand your pain. Truly. But as Christians we are called to forgive. 70 times 7. We are called to... Interrupting respectfully. Pastor, may I ask you something? Of course. If someone beat you every day for 16 years and then one day stopped beating you and said, I'm sorry, would you immediately let them back into your life with full trust? Or would you need time to heal? To see genuine change? To rebuild what was destroyed? Pastor opening his mouth to respond, then closing it. He has no quick answer. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation, pastor. It doesn't mean returning to a situation that nearly destroyed me. I've forgiven Ethan in my heart. I don't wish him harm. But I cannot forget. And I cannot pretend that his 6 months of regret erases 16 years of damage. What about the children? The children have made their choice. They were there, pastor. They watched everything. Ask them if they want me to return to being the broken woman I was 6 months ago. The session ended with no resolution. Just more pain, more awareness, more truth that couldn't be unsaid. Sometimes the church's answer to stay and suffer doesn't come from God. It comes from people who've never lived your pain. In my daughter Chloe's bedroom. Posters on the wall. University prospectuses spread across her desk. I sits on the bed talking with her. My daughter is applying to universities. Bristol, Manchester, Edinburgh. She wants to study law. She wants to fight for women's rights. I wonder where she got that fire from. Mom, read this. Tell me if it's too much. Watched my mother's quiet strength. Learned that dignity doesn't require a voice, it requires presence. Determined to ensure no woman feels invisible in her own home. It's my truth, Mum. It's what I've seen. Is it too much? Shaking her head, hugging her daughter. Oh baby. It's perfect. It's perfect because it's honest. Mother and daughter embracing. Liam appears in the doorway watching. 14 years old, thoughtful. Can I ask you something? Boys. Why did you stay? If Dad was so terrible, why didn't you leave? This is the question Elle knew would come eventually, because I loved him. Because I kept hoping he'd change. Because I was raised to believe that marriage is forever no matter what. Because I was afraid. Because I didn't know if I could make it on my own. Because of 1,000 reasons that made sense then but don't make much sense now. Are you going to leave him now? Oh no, baby. I genuinely don't know that if you do, we're coming with you. Both of us. We've already talked about it.my children chose me. And in doing so they taught me something profound. I don't have to sacrifice myself to teach them about commitment. My sacrifice only taught them to accept mistreatment.my boundaries, my self-respect, my refusal to accept cruelty. That's what's teaching them about love. What lessons are your children learning from your relationships? What are you teaching them about love, respect, and self-worth? 2 weeks ago, everything came to a head in the most terrifying way possible. November 2024. 2 Uhr nachts. I was awakened by a sound. I found Ethan collapsed in the bathroom floor, unconscious, his medication bottles spilled around him. Ethan. Checking his pulse, his breathing. I grabs my phone, dials 999. Yes, I need an ambulance. My husband collapsed. He's breathing but unconscious. Yes, he has diabetes. High blood pressure. Please hurry. I am sitting beside Ethan on the cold bathroom floor, holding his hand, tears streaming down my face while Elle waits for the ambulance. I end that moment. I wasn't angry. I wasn't cold. I wasn't maintaining my boundaries. I was terrified. Terrified of losing him. Terrified of my children losing their father. Terrified of living with the guilt if he died. Ambulance lights. Paramedics rushing in. St. Thomas Hospital. I am in the waiting room calling my children, calling Sullivan's sisters. Pacing. Praying. He'd missed his medication for 3 days. His blood sugar was dangerously high. They had to stabilize him for 6 hours before they could even give me an update. I am sitting in the hospital corridor, head in hands. Chloe and Liam arrive, running to their mother. Mom, is Dad going to be okay? Holding the children. I don't know, baby. I don't know. The three of them sitting together waiting. Hours passing. Finally, a doctor approaches. Mrs. Sullivan? Your husband is stable now. But I need to be frank with you, he's not managing his condition properly. He's not eating regularly, not taking his medication consistently, and his stress levels are through the roof. If this continues, we're looking at serious complications. Possibly fatal ones. Does he have support at home? Someone to monitor his medication, his diet, his mental health? I wanted to say, that's not my responsibility. He made his choices. But looking at my children's faces, terrified of losing their father despite everything. Love is complicated. Pain is complicated. And the line between justice and cruelty is thinner than we want to believe. Hospital room. Ethan awake now, weak, surrounded by monitors. Me sitting beside the bed. Chloe and Liam have gone home. When he woke up, he looked at me with such gratitude, such hope. Like this near-death experience would be the miracle that fixed us. Leah, you stayed. Of course I stayed. You're my children's father. Does this mean you'll, Ethan, we need to talk. Really talk. Did I pull my chair closer, taking his hand? My face is serious, not cold but not warm either. I can't go back to how things were. Not the old normal where you and your mother ran my life. But also not this new normal where I treat you with the same cruelty you showed me. Neither of those is sustainable. So what do? We start over. Completely over. Not as the people we were, but as the people we are now. You need to understand, I am not the submissive, silent woman I was a year ago. She's gone. And she's not coming back. I don't want her back. I want the woman sitting in front of me. The strong woman. The woman who built a business. The woman our children respect and love. And I need you to understand that trust isn't rebuilt in a day, a week, or even a year. It's rebuilt through consistent action. Through therapy, for you individually and for us as a couple. Through you learning to manage your own life without needing your mother or me to do it for you. Ethan listening, really listening for perhaps the first time in our marriage. And most importantly, Ethan, you need to understand that I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. Because I don't want to look back when I'm 60 and realize I spent another 20 years being angry. Anger is exhausting. And I'm tired. I'll do whatever it takes, Leah. I swear it. Whatever it takes. I wanted to believe him. God, how I wanted to believe him. But belief requires evidence. And he had 16 years of evidence against him. So I made a choice. Not to trust him. But to give him the opportunity to earn trust. Is this wisdom or weakness? Am I setting healthy boundaries or setting myself up for more pain? We started therapy the week he was released from hospital. And let me tell you, it's been harder than anything we've been through. Ethan, I want you to explain to Leah what you understand about the damage you caused. Not what you did, she knows what you did. But the impact. The emotional impact. I made her feel unwanted. Unloved. Like a stranger in her own home. And why did you do that? Because my mother told me that's how marriage works. That wives are outsiders who join the family but never become family. Leah, how does it feel to hear Ethan say that? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your next lesson could save your relationship. It feels like he's still making excuses. My mother told me isn't a reason. It's a cop-out. Ethan was a grown man. He chose to believe her. He chose to treat me that way. I was raised that way. From childhood. How was I supposed to know it was wrong? Because I told you it was wrong. I told you hundreds of times. But my voice didn't matter because I was just the outsider, remember? letting them sit with this tension, not rushing to resolve it. This is the work. The painful, ugly, necessary work of excavating 16 years of damage and examining each piece. Another session weeks later. Leah, I'm going to ask you a difficult question. Do you still love Ethan? I don't know. I love the man I thought he was when I married him. I love the father he could have been. I love the husband he promised to be. But do I love the man sitting next to me? The one who caused me 16 years of pain? I'm trying to. Does that count? It's honest. And honesty is where we start. Progress is slow. Some weeks we take one step forward. Other weeks we take 3 steps back. But we're trying. I'm trying. Healing isn't linear. It's messy, complicated, and there are no guarantees. One of the hardest parts of Sullivan's therapy has been confronting the truth about his mother. The woman he worshipped. The woman who raised him. Again, I want you to say it out loud. What your mother did to your marriage. She was traditional. She believed in certain values. No. The truth. Not the softened version. The real truth. She sabotaged my marriage. She poisoned my mind against my wife. She made me choose between her and Leah, and she made sure I chose her every single time. Ethan crying, finally admitting the truth. She didn't prepare me for marriage. She prepared me to keep her as the most important woman in my life. She used me. And I let her. I let her destroy the best thing that ever happened to me. And how does that make you feel? Angry. I'm so angry at her. She's dead and I'm angry at a dead woman. What kind of son does that make me? Makes you honest. Finally. You see, that's the trap of toxic parents. Even when they're gone, even when you see the damage they caused, you feel guilty for being angry at them. Because they're your parents. Because you loved them. Because acknowledging their toxicity feels like betrayal. But sometimes the only way forward is through that anger. Have you ever had to confront the toxic patterns your parents taught you? How did you break free? In December 2024. Ethan preparing dinner. Actually cooking, not ordering takeaway. I comes home from the salon surprised. Change is happening. Foley. Small victories that once would have meant nothing but now mean everything. I made us dinner. Chicken sauces. I called your sister Blessing and asked her to teach me on video call. It's probably terrible, but you called Blessing? Yeah. I figured if I'm going to be a proper husband, I should learn from the people you trust. The people who've been there for you when I wasn't. It's hit Ethan. Really. It's these moments that confuse me. These small evidences that maybe, just maybe, he's actually changing. Another day. Ethan organizing his home office. Creating systems. Learning to manage his own paperwork. He's learning to manage his finances. He hired a business consultant. A woman actually, which shocked me, to help him restructure his businesses. He's in individual therapy twice a week. He takes his medication consistently now. He's trying. Ethan attended Chloe's school concert. Actually present, actually engaged, actually proud. Chloe sees him surprised and gives a small smile. And slowly, so slowly I almost don't notice it, my heart is starting to soften. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But less hardness. Less anger. But here's what scares me. Is he changing because he wants to? Or because he has no other choice? My sister Blessing is my truth teller. The one person who will tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. Leah, I need to ask you something. Are you going back to Ethan because you want to? Or because you feel obligated? I'm not going back to him. We live in the same house, you know what I mean? Are you softening toward him because he's genuinely changed? Or because it's easier than continuing to be the bad guy? The truth of this question hitting hard. Sister, I love you. And I'll support whatever decision you make. But you need to be honest with yourself. Because if you're doing this out of guilt, out of pressure from the church, out of fear of judgment from our community, that's not healing. That's just a different kind of suffering. Oh no, Blessing. I genuinely don't know anymore. Some days I see him trying and I think, maybe we can survive this. Other days I look at him and all I feel is the weight of 16 years crushing me again. Then don't decide today. Keep doing the therapy. Keep maintaining your boundaries. And wait until you know. Really know. Not what the church wants. Not what the community expects. What you want. My sister is right. I don't know what I want. And maybe that's okay. Maybe not knowing is part of the process. How do you know when to give a relationship another chance versus when to walk away? Where is that line? The church community has been complicated. Some people are supportive. Others are judgmental. and some are downright hostile. Leah, we're all praying for you and Ethan. It's wonderful that you're working on your marriage. Marriage is sacred after all. Thank you, Sister Agnes. We appreciate the prayers. Older woman, disapproving, in my day we didn't give up on our marriages so easily. We endured. We persevered. That's what God calls us to do. With respect, Sister Josephine, I haven't given up. I'm in therapy with my husband. Therapy. In my day we didn't need therapy. We needed prayer and submission. The Bible says wives should submit to their husbands. Have you been doing that, Leah? My face changed, anger barely controlled. Other women watching, some nodding, some looking uncomfortable. Sister Josephine, with respect, the Bible also says husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church. Did Ethan do that for 16 years? Young lady, that is not your place. It's absolutely my place. Leah is my sister in Christ. And I will not stand here and watch you pressure her into accepting abuse in the name of submission. Tension. Several younger women stepping beside Gift in solidarity. The older generation looking scandalized. This is the battle happening in churches everywhere. The old guard preaching endurance at any cost. The new generation demanding that biblical submission be mutual, healthy, and rooted in love, not controlled. I was overwhelmed walking away from the confrontation. Gift and several younger women following to support her. The pressure to save my marriage isn't coming from a place of wanting me to be happy. It's coming from a place of tradition, of keeping up appearances, of not wanting to admit that sometimes marriages fail not because of lack of faith, but because of toxicity. The church should be a place of healing, not a place where victims are told to return to their abusers in the name of God. January 2025. My salon. A regular client, Ms. Williams, 72, British Caribbean, getting her hair done. Sometimes wisdom comes from unexpected places. Mrs. Williams has been my client for 6 years. She's seen me through everything. Leah, darling, let me tell you something. I was married to my husband for 47 years before he passed. 47 years. That's beautiful, Mrs. Williams. Beautiful? Child, it was war. The first 20 years that man drank, gambled, ran around with other women, treated me like I was nothing. You hear me? Nothing. But year 21 something happened. His mother died. Just like your husband's mother. And suddenly he had to face himself. Face what he'd become. Face what he'd done to me and our children. What did you do? I gave him a choice. Change or leave. Real change, not just words. Therapy, yes, we had therapy even back then. Accountability. Respect. Or get out of my house. Took 5 years, Leah. 5 years of him proving himself. 5 years of me watching, waiting, testing. And you know what? He did change. Really changed. And those last 22 years? They were beautiful. They were the marriage I'd always dreamed of. But what if Ethan can't change? What if this is all just temporary? Then you leave. With your head held high. Because you gave him a chance. A real chance, and he wasted it. But Leah, listen to me. Don't leave before you're sure. Don't let anger rob you of a potential future that could be beautiful. But also don't let fear keep you in a situation that continues to destroy you. Only you know which way this is going. Trust your gut. It knows the truth even when your heart is confused. Mrs. Williams gave me something precious that day. Permission to take my time. Permission to wait and see. Permission to not have all the answers right now. Do you believe people can truly change after decades of toxic behavior? Or are we fooling ourselves? In February 2025. I came home from the salon exhausted. I've been sick all day but pushed through. Really sick. Flu, fever, the whole thing. And I realized, this would be the test. The moment that would show me if Ethan had really changed or if this was all performance. I entered the flat, barely able to stand. Ethan looks up from his laptop. Wait, what's wrong? You look terrible. I'm fine. Just tired. Long day at the salon. Oh, you're not fine. Come sit down. Ethan guiding me to the couch, getting me a blanket, feeling my forehead. You're burning up. When did this start? This morning. But I had appointments, clients who needed. Forget the clients. I'm calling Chloe to cover the salon tomorrow. You're staying home. My face shock. This is not the Ethan she's known for 16 years. He called the salon. He called our daughter. He called his work to say he'd work from home for the next few days. He cooked me soup. Badly, but he tried. He made sure I took my medication. He brought me water every few hours. Ethan cared for me for over 3 days. checking on me, bringing me food, sitting with me while Al slept. And on the third day when I was feeling better, he handed me an envelope. And what is this? 13 years ago I made you call your brother to pay that bill. £850. You were losing our baby, and I made you beg your family for money because I refused to care for you. I found the old bill in the filing cabinet, and I realized I never made it right. So I sent your brother a check for £850 plus interest, plus a letter apologizing for making him pay for something I should have handled. I can't undo what I did, Leah. I can't give you back those 3 days you spent alone in the hospital. But I can at least try to make the small things right. That moment broke something in me. Or maybe it healed something. I still don't know which. Actions speak louder than words. But do actions over 3 months erase 16 years of inaction? So here we are. February 2025. 14 months since Margaret Sullivan died. 14 months of chaos, pain, anger, therapy, small victories, and complicated healing. People keep asking me, have you forgiven him? Are you staying? Are you leaving? Is the marriage saved? And I tell them the truth, I don't know. Some days I look at Ethan and see a man genuinely trying to become better. A man horrified by his past actions. A man working every day to be the husband he should have been from the beginning. Other days I look at him and see the man who let his mother destroy me for 16 years. The man who chose everyone else over me again and again and again. Trauma doesn't disappear just because someone apologizes. Trust doesn't rebuild just because someone is trying. Love doesn't automatically return just because cruelty has stopped. And yet there's something happening. Falling. A tiny, fragile possibility that maybe, something new could grow from these ashes. Not the old marriage. That's dead. Buried alongside Margaret Sullivan. But maybe something different. Something built on honesty, therapy, boundaries, and mutual respect. Something that acknowledges the past but doesn't let it dictate the future. Or maybe I'm fooling myself. Maybe I'm accepting crumbs after 16 years of starvation and calling it a feast. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. What would you do in my position? Stay and see if the change is real? Or leave and start fresh? There's no wrong answer. I just want to know I'm not alone in this confusion. If you're a mother with sons, please listen to me. Please. Your son's wife is not an outsider. She is not a threat to your relationship with him. She is not someone to compete with. She is your son's partner. His teammate. His family. When you teach your son that his wife is less important than you, you're not protecting your relationship with him. You're destroying his marriage. You're ensuring that his children will grow up watching their father disrespect their mother. You're planting seeds that will bear poisonous fruit for generations. Margaret Sullivan didn't mean to be cruel. In her mind, she was protecting her son, maintaining tradition, ensuring family loyalty. But her protection destroyed him. Her tradition broke our family. Her loyalty made him a man incapable of truly loving his wife. So please, if you love your son, truly love him, teach him to honor his wife. Teach him that marriage is a partnership, not a hierarchy. Teach him that loving his wife doesn't mean loving you less. Give him the gift Margaret Sullivan never gave Ethan, the ability to build a healthy marriage. To the mothers watching, will you be a Margaret Sullivan? Or will you be the mother-in-law who builds her son's marriage instead of destroying it? The choice is yours. And to the wives out there living my story right now, the ones being told they're outsiders, the ones watching their husbands prioritize everyone else, the ones slowly dying inside while maintaining a smile outside, I see you. That was you. Damn you. And I want to tell you something, your voice matters. Your pain is real. Your feelings are valid. You are not being too sensitive or disrespectful when you ask to be treated with dignity. You are not an outsider. You are someone's wife. Someone's mother. Someone's daughter. Someone's friend. You are a whole person deserving of love, respect, and partnership. Don't wait 16 years like I did. Don't lose yourself trying to fit into a family that refuses to see you. Don't sacrifice your soul hoping that one day they'll wake up and value you. Before I reveal what happened next, click subscribe. You'll want to hear the rest. Speak up. Set boundaries. Demand respect. And if you don't get it, if after genuinely trying nothing changes, it's okay to leave. It's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to say, enough. You are not a doormat. You are not a servant. You are not an outsider in your own marriage. You are a wife. A partner. An equal. Don't let anyone, Not your mother-in-law, not your husband, not your community, not even your church, tell you otherwise. If you're in a toxic marriage, please talk to someone. A therapist. A counselor. Trusted friend. Don't suffer in silence like I did. You deserve better. My name is Ethan Sullivan. And I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me because I believed a lie. The lie was this: that my mother's love and my wife's love were in competition. That honoring my wife meant dishonoring my mother. That being a good son meant being a bad husband. It's a lie that many of us, especially in traditional communities, are taught from childhood. And it's destroying marriages everywhere. To the men watching this, your wife is not an outsider. She's your partner. The woman you chose. The woman who chose you. The mother of your children. Your teammate in building a life. Your mother had her time to be the most important woman in your life. That time was childhood. When you got married, that shifted. Not because you love your mother less, but because you've created a new primary family unit. I wish someone had told me that 16 years ago. I wish I'd been strong enough to see it myself. I wish I'd prioritized Leah the way she deserved. But I didn't. And now I'm living with the consequences. My wife barely trusts me. My children resent me. My business is struggling. My health is failing. All because I chose wrong again and again for 16 years. Don't be me. Don't wake up one day and realize you destroyed your marriage for a relationship that, as important as it was, shouldn't have come before your wife. Stand up for your wife. Protect her from family members who disrespect her. Even if that's your mother. Build your life with her. Choose her. Every day choose her. Before it's too late. Men, are you a Ethan? Are you letting your mother or anyone else come between you and your wife? Fix it now. Today. Before you lose everything that matters. So where do we go from here? I don't have a Hollywood ending for you. I don't have a miracle reconciliation or a triumphant, we made it story. What I have is this: two broken people trying to figure out if broken pieces can be reassembled into something whole. Or if it's better to let them stay broken and build something new separately. Ethan is still in therapy. Still working on himself. Still trying to prove that his change is real and permanent. I'm still healing. Still learning to trust, or not trust. Still figuring out if I want to rebuild this marriage or if I just want peace. Our children are watching, learning, forming their own opinions about love, commitment, forgiveness, and boundaries. And maybe that's the real story here. Not whether Ethan and I make it, but what our children and the people watching our story learn from it. Maybe they learn that marriage requires work from both people from day one, not just after everything falls apart. Maybe they learn that family dynamics need to shift when you get married and toxic patterns need to be broken. Maybe they learn that women don't have to accept mistreatment in the name of tradition, submission, or keeping the peace. Maybe they learn that men need to be taught, from childhood, that wives are partners, not outsiders. This is my story. Leah Sullivan from Peckham, South London. The wife who lost her husband while his mother was still alive. The woman who's trying to figure out if she wants him back now that his mother is gone. I don't have answers. Just questions. Just pain. Just hope. Just fear. Just life in all its complicated, messy reality. This story continues. Every day. In marriages around the world. What will your ending be? If you're living this story right now, you're not alone. Help is available. Your story doesn't have to end the way mine is still unfolding. Whether you choose to stay and fight for your marriage or choose to leave and fight for yourself, make sure it's your choice. Not your mother-in-law's choice. Not your community's choice. Not even your church's choice. Yours. Because you're the one who has to live with it. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helped you feel less alone. I hope it gave you courage. I hope it gave you permission. Permission to speak up. Permission to set boundaries. Permission to choose yourself. Or permission to try again if that's what your heart is telling you. Either way, you matter. Your pain matters. Your future matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This is dedicated to every woman who's been told she's an outsider in her own marriage. And to every man brave enough to break the cycle. Follow this channel for more shocking true life stories and healing journeys.